Good morning guys, how are you all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. This is our Bitcoin morning update. So we will go over to those charts. Right, so I've got the sound sorted, so let's not worry about that. But yeah, for our chart, as you can see, we've definitely, well, I say definitely, we've dropped out of the ascending triangle as I have drawn it. Clearly other people, or you can also draw it like, well, you could draw it like that, couldn't you? Move this up a bit. But how I've drawn it, we are still, well, not I say still, how I've drawn it, we're actually outside of it. So we'll have to address how I've drawn it. If we do basically get supported here and start to move back up, I may look to adjust it because clearly I haven't drawn it correctly based on obviously the new available price action information. But obviously that's the problem with drawing patterns. You don't necessarily know what pattern you're in until it forms, because like I've been saying, we could potentially just be in a big accumulation zone inside this rectangle with this as the lower support, and it just happens for the time being we'd be making higher lows, but we could still come back down and test here, then come back to the top and trade around the middle, trade lower again and then up again. We could be in a different formation, and we don't always know until often the formations basically get resolved. So it's not a lot of use to us. But as I have drawn it, we have dropped below. We are also, you guys do know that I put more importance into horizontals anyway. So obviously it happens that we have a horizontal at the top of an ascending triangle, and we are respecting these horizontals on the way down as well. So yeah, I'm a massive fan of these sloping patterns. But yeah, I mean, they do obviously work. They do obviously work when you break out of ascending triangles and descending triangles. But like I said, what you will notice when you break out of a descending or ascending triangle, you are in effect breaking out of a horizontal level, which is what I'm saying. I prefer to sort of looking at breakdowns out of these. Also, obviously, I do look at break like patterns like we had drawn on here, where obviously price action is getting guided down, and then when we break up, then we go up. But this is clearly a more efficacious line with a lot more price action being held below and guided down. So obviously when we pop up, it's clearly going to have a potentially a bigger move rather than a touch that came here on the 10th of May, touches around the 25th of May. Well, we won't count that as a touch, but a touch on the 11th of June, 15th of June, and do you know what I mean? I mean, there's a difference between all this price action quite close together and then these touches that have been formed here. And obviously, we can get wicks that go wherever they want, even whilst we're trading up here. We can get a wick all the way down through it and then back up there. So horizontals, I think, are more important. But right, so that being said, we are below this triangle. How I've drawn it obviously is incorrect now. Either it's been invalidated and we're broken out, or I've drawn it incorrect. Either way, we can't really use it so much now as a guide, and I will look to adjust this or just delete it or whatever I decide to do. I probably will adjust it because it obviously, with the more information, drawing it differently, it will obviously give us a bit more. Well, in fact, I will do it now. We'll just adjust it now and see what. To kind of see what, just to give us a guide going forwards, because obviously we do have this more information now. I think this is roughly right. I always say when I draw my lines, especially these sort of triangle lines, I do always say that how I've drawn it, because I am fully aware how I've drawn it may not end up, is not maybe how other people draw it, may not be right. I mean, it's open to interpretation, and it's just open to pure error as well. Just like you just draw it in the wrong place. Basically, I mean, I can adjust this and it all looks fine. But I am moving the levels, aren't I? So yeah, we'll adjust it to there. So now, so at the moment, based on this, we are still in it. So if we do get supported here and we do keep going up, I mean, that will look like not the worst test of it. Move it down because we've got some candle bodies below here. Yeah, it won't look as that the worst test of it. But yeah, like I have said though, we could be in a box. You get these a lot in other markets. Let me just show you gold. Look, we had it in gold. Look, we had it here. I mean, you could also almost argue we're sort of looking like we were getting well, not quite the same, but looking like we're getting an ascending triangle and of sort. Maybe not really. Maybe that's rubbish. But yeah, but you can see we get these rectangle formations where basically we are either distributing or accumulating at a high, and this could be very much what we are forming in Bitcoin. Could be very much the same sort of thing in sort of this area here. We can come down and test this again, back to the top, test it middle. I mean, and then break out either up or down. The only thing about that, you don't know necessarily whether it's accumulation or distribution until you break out and then make the move. But obviously, an ascending triangle is just leans more towards the bullish, bullish bias. That's what I'm trying to look for. Whereas these don't necessarily. They do have a bullish bias based on the fact you are consolidating at a high. But yeah, I mean, it could be distribution, and then you get the markdown, the Wyckoff markdown. But so yeah, it is. Whilst I say, obviously the trend is your friend, and we are obviously putting in lower highs here. We've got this trend line in. We look like we try to pop up and make a move above. I mean, I'm not gonna fully adjust this, but let's say fully adjust this. I'm not gonna actually keep this move, but we could put that there, you know. And I mean, you can see that doesn't look like the worst trend line, does it? I mean, obviously we got a bit more excited, spent more time above. But what I would suggest is that in this zone here, we broke above it, so we actually came up to the horizontal, which is more important than necessarily this trend line that we had drawn. But nonetheless, we're back below it. We are back below it, and we have even, yeah, I mean, it's looking descending triangly anyway. But yeah, all I will say is that obviously it's not all over for Bitcoin, but you guys know what I said about the weekly Stokes also. The weekly stochastics turning back over, and yeah, even in bull runs, a weekly turnover stochastic does lead to a like anything from like a 30 to 40% sell-off. So I have done a video a couple of days about this, not a video on this, but my update a few days ago. I was talking about this is problematic. Problematic for us breaking up right now, up to the new bull run. So I just feel like this is going to get us a move, potentially down to this trend line here that I can't necessarily draw on because of all the rubbish, all these other ones on different time frames. But maybe the weekly Stokes is going to come down here, put in a very nice looking higher low. That's it. Higher low. I always get the higher lows and lower highs and new lows and new highs. I always get them mixed up. But yeah, I have to think about it. A higher low. And if you put a higher low and then turn up from there, then that's it. Bull run. And also, I mean, you guys might want the bull run now. Obviously, yeah, why not? But if we do come down about here, come down to around the 7Ks, get like a 30-40% retracement in the price of Bitcoin. I mean, providing we then turn around and go back up again and go into the bull run, you've just got more chance to buy more coins at a lower value. So I don't see that as the end of the world. Also, I spoke about this before. Will we form that inverted head and shoulders that will propel us to basically just great highs? I mean, we'll do the projected target of it in case we do. Come on, let's grab it. Yes, I got it. Obviously we're in logs, so but yeah, that clearly puts us at 15k Bitcoin. 15k Bitcoin puts us at higher than well, basically it puts us up here. It puts us higher. 15k Bitcoin puts us higher than this high, even on a wick basis. So that would be just Bitcoin bull run triggered. I think that everyone will just be getting along. 20k will come pretty soon. So all is not lost for the bulls. Obviously, we've got this weekly 9 as well. We've got a weekly 9 and a turnover in the Stokes now. I have been speaking to some of the people that I work with. I have been talking about obviously taking because we've got large amounts of Bitcoin and basically just actually getting out of Bitcoin because we obviously holding Bitcoin most of the time. Apart from obviously when things do look obviously like on a larger time frame, like the weekly start to look bad. So I basically said that we are going to be taking our money out of Bitcoin, and for the time being we're going to look at some alts, which we're going to talk about in our altcoin party videos that we're going to start doing on Binance. But yeah, we've got some particularly DeFi tokens we're looking at, tokens with apps, new tokens, new ones, not any of that old rubbish like XRP junk, things like that, other things, new up and coming things we're looking at. So I mean, even if Bitcoin comes down, those things hold up quite well anyway. Just look at Link. Those hold up well regardless of what's happening in Bitcoin. And then also we can then just, if Bitcoin basically does have a big bull run, those alts will probably have a bull run anyway, so we'll still be exposed to the upside, but we just won't have a lot of our capital tied up in, not tied up, but just exposed to what I believe is a high likelihood move down to into the 6Ks, potentially even wicks down to, yeah, maybe even wicks down into the high 5Ks. I mean, maybe not. Maybe we'll come down and this will be where the wicks are. Maybe we'll get supported around 7K and wicks down into the 6Ks. But yeah, things are lining up on the larger time frames for that. So definitely something to look out for. And yeah, I mean, we'll assess it in real time. I'm not obviously going to just blindly buy at this level thinking that's the bottom. I'll wait for us to turn around, wait for weekly stokes to turn around before I then move large amounts of capital back into Bitcoin from USDT. So yeah, that's what I'm kind of looking at here. 12-hour stokes are clearly going to be looking terrible. Terrible. Yeah, there we go. 12-hour stokes clearly going to be looking to the downside. So what do I think? Short-term price action. Why are we on that? Yeah, short-term price action. Back to the 4-hour. I mean, we're playing out a little bit of a bounce here. Also, you guys know, again, we are based on, we are taking our lead from the stock markets, and I think stock markets, whilst I don't think they're going to go down, they're going to keep pumping up. They've still got plenty of time for a nice sort of pullback. I think I was talking about in the Nasdaq I mean, look, the 200, we're so far away from the 200 day. We can get, I mean, even a pullback into the 50 period. Look how much of a move that is. I mean, I think there has to be some sort of pullback in this, and I mean more than a pullback than we've had. And then that's obviously going to have an amplified effect on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin moves down more than these tends to move. So yeah, I think we're going to have this playing out. And I think that's going to drag us down. I don't think that's going to be. I think obviously we're going to then find support. I mean, I would like to say at the 200 day, but obviously 200 days is a long way away from price. But I often find in markets when I think something's like too far away and a bit crazy as a target, even though I've had it clearly drawn as a target before, the targets still get met. I remember when we had that head and shoulders in Bitcoin, and the target was obviously the head and shoulders in Bitcoin, and the target was this head and shoulders here. Oh, stop moving. If I just move something. Yes, I did. Right, let's lock those tools. Yeah, this head and shoulders forming here, and obviously the target was very low, and look, we easily got down there and some, even though you were looking at this thinking, yeah, this head and shoulders not going to play out. And then pow. But yeah, so back to the Nasdaq. I mean, yeah, things happen, things can happen. All I'm saying is don't underestimate what markets can do, because occasion after occasion after occasion after occasion I see it. And definitely don't underestimate Bitcoin having this 40% move, even if stock markets only go down about 10%. Let's say this move in the Nasdaq down to the 50 period from where we are now. That's still, I mean, yeah, Bitcoin, if the Nasdaq comes down basically about 7%, then we are definitely going to see about a 30% move in Bitcoin. Nothing's definite, not financial advice. So yeah, I mean, I would just be careful. Like I said, guys, I'm looking to get exposure to certain alts now. Definitely decreasing my Bitcoin exposure to basically my Bitcoin exposure. My exposure to crypto will be via alts, and I'll be exiting this crypto, this Bitcoin, and then yeah, looking to buy ones. So I'll have orders in to basically, I will have orders in to buy some at low levels, because I'll start to average into that position if we start to come down to these levels. But yeah, no real reason for me to be in it now or to get in it, and other people are thinking the same way, so that isn't good for the Bitcoin price, put it that way. But like I said though, I'm only expecting a inverted head and shoulders and a move about 30-40% move down. But this might play out over the next couple of weeks or so. But next few weeks. I mean, the weekly Stokes have obviously got to play out over a few weeks to come down to here. I mean, let's look. If we get the move down to around here, we're looking at. I mean, we're looking at a month, guys. 20th of July, 30th of July, depending on how quick we come down. I mean, we can come down pretty quick to this. Let's get it up here. Here we go. So from here, this high to this low was 2nd of March, my birthday, 2nd of March to basically start of April, a month. So yeah, a month. We could have a month here. A month of downward price action, get it to about 7k, and then we can then moon. So it's not long. It's not long, guys. So that's what I'm thinking. So obviously, if we regain these, if we break, I mean, it's simple and it's an easy enough trade to the upside anyway, guys. We've only really got to be looking at buying above 10,000, which when we were at a price point, that's only $750 higher than we are now. Get back to 10,000, just we can buy again, and it's all good. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at, guys. So remember, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, and you should always do your own research. And yeah, I will speak to you guys later today.